first I'm going to make my mushroom sauce. I'm going to put a lot of garlic in the mushroom sauce, so I'm thinking if you get this beautiful garlic here, give that a crush and a fine chop for me, and what I'll do is I'll just cut a little bit of this onion here, finely dice it up like this, through the middle there like that, and there we go, nice and fine. And I'm just going to get some butter. Look, see this lovely butter here, and my pot here on the barbecue. Pop it in there, and then it'll start sizzling. Just a tiny little bit of butter, just to sort of spread over the bottom of the pot here, so it actually starts to melt. In goes my onions.
You know, when you said before you wanted to cook something close to your heart.
This is going to sit on my.
I thought you were going to.
It's going to sit on my heart, isn't it? There we go.
I thought you were going to say that.
No. I've got the butter in there, pick some time, just throw it straight in there, pop this back over here.
That's beautiful, Adrian.
The garlic is great, isn't it? And what I'm going to do is get my mushrooms and I'm going to slice them nice and thin. This is the way that I like to cook mushrooms. Just slice them nice and thin like that. Chop it up nice and fine. As fine as you can get it. I like to cook my mushrooms like this. I slice them really fine and I put them into the pot. I've got some butter in there, then I'll put some little bit of stock or some water or some white wine and let it sort of simmer away. Now, over a period of time, you know, 10, 15 minutes or so, the liquid just evaporates, you know, and you're left with the juices of the mushroom and the, you know, and the little bit of butter that's left over. But the oyster mushrooms, they're pretty easy. You can just tear them up or slice them if you want. See how they tear into these little segments like that? There we go. And you've got the garlic there.
Oh, and you've got some shiitakes there too.
Can you throw some shiitakes? Can you throw that garlic straight into there for me? There we go. Beautiful.
Wow.
And I'll get you to slice those shiitakes.
I'm all over the amount of garlic you use.
Oh, the more garlic, the better. Well, a garlic and mushroom go so well together. And all we do is just let that simmer away nicely. And these button mushrooms here, I'll just move that there. Just slice them nice and thin. The thinner, the better, I reckon.
So any mushies? Any
mushies. If you've got them growing in the backyard, like we do in Melbourne, just be careful with mushrooms. If you do get them from the backyard or you go mushrooming, it pays to really know what you're doing. So
maybe don't pick them and eat them on the street.
Yeah, unless you know what you're doing. There we go. In goes my mushrooms there, and that'll simmer away for a few minutes. Beautiful. And then all I need to do is add a little bit of stock to it. Here we go. A little bit of stock in there, and then I'll just boil and bubble away, and all the juices will come out of that. But here's my next bit.
He's got his heat beads strategically arranged in there, and I love that he does that because I have no idea.
The thing I've got here is
hello, steak.
Some grass-fed Australian or Tasmanian beef. Look at that. This is what we call a rump steak. Ready? See that? Chumps, that's how heavy it is. This is how you season up the perfect steak. I've got my steak. I've let it come up to room temperature, as I've said already. Then a little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit of Australian extra virgin olive oil. You can use what you want, but Australian's always better. Just like a couple of drops on each side. But here we go. I'll just put some salt on there. Now, you're probably thinking there's a lot of salt on there. And yes, there is a lot of salt because salt loves meat.
I don't care.
And meat loves salt. And it's the salt that draws out the flavour. But, you know, I won't put salt on. I haven't put any salt in there yet, have I? In the mushrooms. There we go. You know I will. You know I will. You know I will. And a nice amount of pepper. Now, Janelle, do you want to flip that over or do you want me to? Would you prefer me to? There we go. I'll flip it over for you. There we go. How did I know that one?
I'm just still dealing with the meat hands in the salt.
There we go. Well, I'll separate it. I'll separate this salt. There we go. Back on there like that. And then some pepper on there. Now, you're thinking that's a lot of salt, but don't forget, some of this will come off.
You'd be right.
When we start to barbecue it. But look at that. It's beautiful. It's going to make it taste so good. Now, what I've got is my char grill is really sort of hot and boiling and ready to go. There's my steak with my fork straight onto the barbecue. Look at that.
It's just so Flintstones.
Oh. This is what most of Australia would be looking at, thinking, yes, Richo, you're telling me the truth. This is what it's all about. And look at the bar marks on there already. Now, what I did is I actually moved it away from the intense heat because I could just see, you know, it was just going to get a bit too hot. And this is really hot. So I just want to have like a medium to high heat. So every couple of minutes, I just turn the steak over. I'll just check on my sauce, which is simmering away very nicely. Have a look at that, Janella. Now, in about a minute or so, I'll just put some cream in here. We'll just give it some time to clean up and we'll finish this off. You can see the sauce has just reduced down and sort of thickened up a little bit.
It's beautiful.
And the mushrooms have become nice and soft. A little bit of cognac in there, just a splash. You know, you could flame that up if you wanted to, but, you know, I don't think I'll get that close to the flame.
I'm already melting.
There we go. And a little bit of cream just to thicken it up. And, oh, there we go. Just be careful of that cream. Just pour a little bit of that in. Not too much, Janella, because we don't want to sort of overdo it. There we go. Just a little bit more. There we go. That's a perfect amount. Often people put so much cream with their sauces. It is. Often they put so much, they become way too creamy, and you lose all the flavour of everything else. All you want to do is just sort of bring it together, just lighten it up with that cream and make it delicious. What I'll do now is just carve my steak. Look at that, beautiful, nice. I'll just cut some nice thin pieces, just like that,
you meat
all the way
lovers
through
out
there.
there, I bet you wish you were me.
I can see people salivating,
Me
just
too.
foaming at the mouth, thinking, I just got to get some of that
And the vegetarians are going, oh.
Richo steak action. I'm just going to pop this into the centre there and just spread it out a little bit, and look at that steak. I've turned my steak many times. It looks beautiful and moist, and the moisture's staying in there. It's perfectly cooked.
It was poetry to watch.
Exactly, and I turned it about 20 times, maybe 18 to 20 times.
Good exercise.
There we go. Good exercise for my tong hands. Look at this, some mushrooms. I could put some chopped parsley in there, but you know, I just couldn't wait anymore. Some mushrooms on the top there, a little bit of that light sort of cream sauce. Oh, beautiful.
He's shaking. His whole body is shaking.
I'm quivering. Yeah, quivering. A little bit of sauce around the outside there. You have to say that's a cracker of a steak dish, isn't it? And cooked on the barbecue. I can't wait to get in this now. And I've even got my steak knife here. I'll give you a taste of the steak, but let me just tell you. You want me to tell you all about it?
I'll just move this away from you. You're going to eat it off there.
I could eat it off there. I'm just going to have a little taste of it here, cuts like butter. Taste the sauce.
Yeah, I am. It cuts like butter.
Oh.
The moans. Yum.
It tastes like a fantastic... You like the sauce?